Hello guys, welcome back and welcome for the first time if you're new to this channel. I've got a jazz piano tutorial for you today on Blue and Green from the album Kinda Blue by Miles Davis. There's a bit of a debate over whether Miles wrote this tune or whether it was Bill Evans, the pianist from this album. But between them they created this amazing recording on an incredible album, which is still the biggest selling jazz album of all time. Fun fact about this album is that the whole thing was recorded in about 7 hours, and every single tune except one was done in one single take, which is pretty phenomenal when you listen to it. Anyway, we'll get on with the lesson. Hope you enjoy it and I hope you find it useful. If you do, please do leave a like or a comment. Really appreciate any feedback. And if there's anything you think could be done differently to improve these lessons, please let me know in the comment section too. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so I'll start by playing you through the whole form just once through, just in the format that I'm going to teach it, and then I'll break down each individual chord voicing and explain what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'll break down what I was doing there. So our first chord is G minor 7, and our melody note is an E. And the voicing I was using here, we're just basically going to play just a standard G minor 9, just all built on top of each other like that, with the melody note on top. If you can reach it, you can do this root and third here as a tenth, like this, just to give a slightly fuller sound, like that. That's about my maximum reach. I don't have especially large hands, but if you've got small hands that might be a struggle to reach, so you can either just play it up here, or you can sort of arpeggiate this, so with the pedal play it like that. Okay, and then we walk down, our melody walks down D to C, and then we have A7 sharp 9 as our chord. The melody note is actually the sharp 9th here, so I was playing this A7 here, root and 7th and the 3rd, and then I was also adding in the sharp 5th here. So I'll play those two chords together now, like that. Then our melody walks down B flat to A, and then here just doing a D minor 9 voicing like this. So root and 3rd, 7th and 9th, and the tune is the 5th. Now we have this chromatic walk downwards with the chords. So we go down to a G, and here we're doing a D flat 9, and the melody note is the flattened 5th. One of the really nice things with this tune, as you might have noticed, is that almost every note of the melody on a strong beat is some kind of extension or some kind of altered note, which basically makes the melody really interesting. So we have a D flat 7, a D flat 9, and then here I'm just doing a C minor 11, just all stacked on top of each other like that. You can also think of this as a B flat triad over a C minor triad. So that's C minor 11. Then we go up to a D. The lead sheet here has this chord as the F13 flat 9, which you could play like this. So there's our root 3rd 7th flat 9, and the melody is the 13th. However, this is a really good place to do a tritone substitution. So what we're going to do here is, well, I mean, you can use this chord. It's absolutely fine to use that chord. I'll just play you that chord in context. So yeah, it's a nice sounding chord. The tritone works well here because we've just had this chromatic movement from D to D flat down to C. We can continue that chromatic movement with a B7 instead of an F7, which will take us down to the B flat major 7 that's coming up. So here we're going to do this. So the voicing here is exactly the same as the F13, except our root note here we're going to be playing a B instead. So that gives us a B7, and the melody note becomes the sharp 9th of that chord. So I'll play you that now in context. And that leads us nicely down to the B flat chord now. So this is a really nice chord, and the melody, the E, is the sharp 4th of this chord, so it's kind of a Lydian sound. And what I was playing here was basically an inversion of a C major triad over a B flat triad. So it's quite a nice, it's quite a sort of deep clustered sound here. What we're basically playing here is a B flat 6 9. There's the 6th, there's the 9th, with a sharp 4 on top. But you can think of this as a C major over B flat. Then our tune carries on like this, and then here we're playing the same voicing that we played at the beginning, at the second chord. So that's the A7 sharp 9 with a sharp 5. Then we go, and here we're doing another just simple voicing of an 11th chord. So that's a D minor 11. And then here is we have E7 sharp 9 sharp 5. The C is our sharp 5. So we're going to build an E7 down here like this, and then add in the G, which is the sharp 9. At the beginning, when I played it through, I also added in the flat 9th, just for a bit of extra tension. And then here we're doing a minor 9. This is the 9th, and this down here is just quite a simple voicing of an A minor 7. So root and 7, root and 7, 3rd and 5th, and then the 9th is the melody. You could also, instead of the 5th, play the 11th here, which is also the 4th. So for a slightly different sound. That's with the 5th, that's with the 11th. And then finally the last chord of the head, D minor 7, so that's our 3rd. So we're going to do root 7th, so we don't need another 3rd here because it's already in the tune. And then the voicing I was doing here was 9th and 5th, like that. So this is a really nice open, quite light voicing there. And then that's the end of the head. So then we just have to do there's a coda at the end, which is almost the same as the opening few chords, but we're going to do something a bit different here, just to change it up a bit. So instead of a G minor 9 with the sixth, we're going to play an E half diminished. That's an E half diminished. That's also known as an E minor 7 flat 5. This chord is interchangeable with the G minor 6 because you might be able to see here that this is just an inversion of a G minor 6. So that's the sixth. If we put that up there, then that's a G minor 6. So minor sixth chords are always interchangeable with a half diminished chord, a minor third down. So we're playing E in the melody, and the voicing I was doing for this was did root there, flat 5 there, 7th there, and also the 11th. 11th works well with these minor 7 flat 5s. And then we can either add the third in here or down here. So that's with it up there, and that's with it down there. I kind of prefer that, but up to you. And then here we're going to do another tritone substitution. So instead of an A7, we're going to play an E flat 7. So we're going to keep this chromatic movement to end up on the D. So the voicing here, I'll just go back to the E chord, and we were doing this. So this here is an E flat 13th with a flat 9. This tune, the note of the tune here is the 13th, and then we have root in third, 7th, and flat 9. And then we walk down to finish on the A with a D minor 6 9 now instead of a D minor 7. So the voicing here is going to be virtually the same as the voicing for the D minor 7 we used at the beginning, but all we're going to do is change the 7th down to a 6th, like that. So I'll play you that the whole of the coda. So E half diminished, E flat 13, flat 9, and D minor 6 9. And then you can sort of just finish on something like that, or whatever you like. So that's Blue and Green, and I hope you enjoyed practicing it. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.